Welcome to practice. We're going to begin seated today, and if kneeling is doable, then kneel, and if not, sit up onto a blanket so you can have your legs comfortable. Finding the length of your spine. And in our practice, we've been beginning laying down with our shoulder blades supported on a blanket. But here, imagine that you have that blanket behind the shoulder blade, pressing the bones of the spine forward. And we're going to use the arms to follow the breath, inhaling and arms up, and exhaling and arms down. We're going to try and keep the shoulders down to the sides of the neck. Feel spacious. To continue letting the arms floatily follow the breath. And let the breath feel really satisfying. Feeling the rib cage both expand on the inhalation and exhale and contract. So that you become aware of all of those joints between the ribs and between the ribs and the breastbone and the ribs and the spine. And then just rest your hands onto your lap or your leg. And we're going to make little circles with the neck. Now what we're doing is trying to get the chin into the chest, ear to the shoulder, looking up at the ceiling without squashing the back of the neck. Ear to the shoulder, chin to the chest. Gentle, compassionate movement. And then the other direction. We're not trying to throw the head around, but rather exploring, I guess it's like the core strength of the neck. As muscles switch on and switch off. Feeling stable there. And then back to center. And lift the spine now, take the shoulders back and really just relax your head, even maybe bobble your head a little bit from side to side so your occiput feels really relaxed. Beautiful. And we're going to come into forward virasana, kneeling towards the back of the mat now with the arms stretched forward. And take the shoulders back and really lengthen the back of the neck. And finding your deep breath. We're going to bring the elbows down onto the floor and bring the knees hip width. So elbows are shoulder width, knees hip width. Tuck the toes under and lifting your hips and take your hips back and look forward, again without that feeling of squashing the neck, but just trying to press the bones of the spine forward towards the front of your chest. Beautiful. And then releasing and relax your arms now beside your torso, child's pose, and let that part of your back feel broad, the space between the shoulder blades. Finding that lovely expansion and contraction of your ribs. Reach the arms forward again, forward Virasana. Onto the elbows again. But this time we're going to have the knees hip width. Walk the knees back a little. So you've got room to stretch your shoulders by taking the chest towards the legs or the floor. Try to keep the elbows shoulder width. They want to slide out, and you need to listen to your shoulders here. Sometimes if you've had a shoulder injury or you have a restricted movement, you want to have the knees a bit closer to the elbows, or just let the elbows out a little more. But otherwise, we're aiming for shoulder width. Letting the space between the shoulder blades be evident. Follow the sensation there. Notice what feels resistant. Noticing the breath. Nice work. And then releasing and come up. We're going to keep the hips over the knees and walk the hands further forward. So sort of a modified child's pose. But again, it's a big stretch for that middle part of the back, for the shoulder blades, for the armpits. Breathing deeply. And again, finding the space between your shoulder blades. Noticing the resistance around this movement. Good. And then releasing. And walk your hands all the way back and rest your arms now into child's pose. So however child's pose is the most comfortable for you. Finding that deep, expansive breath. Good. Bring the hand just in front of the knees and bring your thigh bones so they're parallel. Tuck your toes under. And we're going to try our movement of lifting the knees off the floor as far as you can. So it might just be the feeling of almost lifting your knees off the floor. Some people can lift them all the way up and maybe even roll back so your heels touch the floor, and then rolling forward. And we're going to roll forward and back. I've got my feet parallel. You can play around with turning your toes out a little. If that feels better for your knees. Try to bring the legs back so that they're parallel when they come forward. Good. And if it feels like a natural movement, just stand up from there once you get into your squat position. Nice work. All right. We're going to be facing the long edge of the mat. Feet under the hip. Take the weight into the right leg, and we're going to reach the left leg out to the left side a little, and just make that nice imaginary feeling around for something with your toes, your left toes. So feeling the air, moving your ankle, reaching out. Good. And then before you put that foot back down, let yourself balance over your standing leg and find the floor with just the skin of the toes, the ball of the foot, and then transfer your weight evenly. Standing into the left leg, reaching the right leg out beside you, and that feeling around for something, not sure what, with your right foot. Get the foot moving, the ankle moving. And then before you put that foot back down, try and find the floor with just the skin of the ball of the foot, the toe, and then transfer your weight. And we're going to do that a couple more times each side. You can have your hands wherever they help you balance. They could even reach out from the shoulders. You might have your hands in prayer position, or even on the belly to remind you of this core work. So really try to emphasize when you come back to center that you find the floor first, just with the skin of the foot, so there's no weight as you find your placement. Good. Try the second side. Whatever position feels like it will be helpful. Good. Keep the foot moving. Nice. Finding where you're going to place your foot before you transfer your weight. Oh, one more each side. Maybe you already finished. If you did, do another one. Really take the time to find your foot placement without falling back into position. Good. And then standing with your feet under your hips. So we start to feel a little warm around the hips. We're going to lift the belly, lift the front of the hip. Take the arms out. Good. And Uttanasana, standing forward bend. But keep the bones of the spine pressing forward, and particularly in your middle back. So we've woken up our awareness to that part of the body. Let's find the breath again, that feeling of expanding the ribs. Expanding and contracting. Top of the head reaching forward. Back of the legs start to straighten. And what we're trying to feel is not the back stretching. So we want that feeling of the bones of the spine embedding into the muscle, not the skin taut over the spine. But the legs, we want to find that stretch in the hamstring. So you move your torso to where you can do both those things, balance, keeping the spine active but relaxed, and the legs at a big stretch. And you can increase it, one leg straight, the other leg bend. If you always go for that alternate leg, try to do both together. See what it is that might encourage you to want to do the other one. Generally, when we move in the most efficient manner, the thing that's easier. So get comfortable with what's difficult here. Enjoying each breath. Good. And then we'll bend the knees and inhale and come up. Urdhva Hastasana, arms up. And Tadasana. Nice work. We're going to take the legs out wide. So if you can, stand, jump. Nice heavy work for the bones, hard work for the bones. And we're going to put the toes out. Both toes out. Good. And just start with your leg straight and bent from side to side. Now, you take that under advisement from your knees. So you feel that you're keeping your quadriceps lifting. Your knees are really supported. And the more you can drop your hips, then the bigger the stretch of the hips. All right, so we want to feel like we've got strong knees. It might just be a really little movement where you've got lots of intention about keeping your knee comfortable. Good. Or you might have a bigger movement. All right, nice. Straighten your legs. Turn your toes in and forward bending. We'll take the arms up, look up, and bending forward. We want to keep the bones of the spine forward. Take the arms forward or the hands forward as far as you can. Line your ears up with your biceps. Turn the heels out a little bit more and lift the kneecaps and the quadriceps and the sit bones. Strong legs. Long spine. Walking your hands over towards the left side, really reaching your right arm. Good, and then walking your hands back underneath your shoulders, reaching your hands over to the right side, really reaching the left arm. Nice work. Back to center. All right, now your hands are under your shoulders, bones of the spine embedding forward. Turn your right foot out at 90 degrees and bend the right knee. Good, and walk your hands so they comfortably support under your torso. Play around with bending your right knee a little more, bringing the hips closer to the floor. Good, and then we're going to repeat that on the second side. So lift up your right toes, turn them in, walk the hands over to the left side. Turn your left foot all the way out. We'll do the same thing. It's like a Parsvakonasana legs or a warrior two legs, but just experimenting with bending the left knee a little deeper, bringing the hips a little closer to the floor. Good. Let's go back to the first side. So turn your left toes in, your right toes out, so your right foot is parallel with the edges of your mat. And we're going to lift the torso and put the right elbow on the right knee. Left elbow, words are escaping me. Left hand on the left hip. Roll the left hip back. Roll the right knee back. And start to open wider the belly, the chest, the heart. Left ribs rolling back. Maybe you can even look up comfortably at the ceiling. See how you feel. And as you breathe, imagine you could take the hips closer to the floor. Good. If it feels okay, take your left arm into the full posture. Parsvakonasana. Upper arm by your left ear, looking up, turning the wrist. Beautiful. Release your left arm. We're going to put the hands back down on the floor and we're going to swap sides. So the right toes are going to turn in. Walk the hands across to the left foot. Left foot turns out at 90 degrees. Bend the left leg. Lift your left elbow onto your left knee, your right hand onto your right hip. Let's roll the right hip back, the right rib, feeling broader across the belly, the chest, the heart. And with the breath now, notice if, in fact, there's more room for you to bring the hips closer to the floor. Beautiful, turning the belly, looking up at the ceiling if that feels good for your neck. And last part of the movement, right arm by your right ear. Looking upwards, signing the heart outward, upward, and breathing. Beautiful. Release your right arm. Bring your hands back to the floor. We're going to walk the hands forward, turn the toes in, walk the hands as far forward as you can now for a forward bend again. Bones of the middle back pressing forward, neck relaxed. Nice work. And then walking the hands in, and we're going to roll up. Good. And then heavily stamp back or jump back. Feet underneath the hips. Mm. Okay. We're going to work on our half moon posture again. So we've been doing these same postures. I'm hoping that we're seeing some movement with those. So we're going to be turning the right foot out at 90 degrees and just getting the feel for balancing on that leg when the toes are turned so that the foot is parallel to the edges of the mat. See if you can rolling over to the toes and then putting your back foot back down. Experiment with taking that back leg off the floor. Feeling contained in the core of the body really helps with that, finding that point of balance. So back and forward as we explore what feels difficult. Notice what your standing foot wants to do, if it wants to turn in, turn out. Let's just see if we can find our balance here. All right. Now, if you need to keep your left tiptoes on the floor, then keep them there. Otherwise, you're lifting your left leg. And we're going to bring the hands onto the belly and turn the belly as much as you can to the left side. Now, if you need to keep landing back on your back foot, that's fine. Just see if you can balance again. So we're turning the belly. That's for our preparation for half moon pose. And we're just going to stretch the right arm out by the right ear, but rolling back the left hip, lifting the belly. Good, keeping the neck nice and relaxed. Very nice. And coming back to turn your feet to the front. Ooh. All right, second side. Left leg turns out so that your foot is parallel to the edges of the mat. And we roll our weight to the front of that foot and back again, just lifting up and dropping the back foot back to the floor. Finding your balance. Slow the movement down and feel that intention of balancing and of placing the foot. And if you can find your balance, you can keep your right tiptoes on the floor for the next part, or you can lift the leg up off the floor, hands to the belly. And we're going to try and lift the belly and really turn the right hip back so the belly is facing to the oh dear, it might be the different side of the mat to you. So the belly is facing up rather than down. Good. You might have to land on your back foot a couple of times, a few times, even constantly. All right. And then we're going to try and take the left arm straight out past the left ear. Feeling that containment in the core of the body. Beautiful. And then releasing, landing with the intention. Yes. All right. Feet back underneath the hips. Arms up, looking up. And Uttanasana. And we're going to walk the hands over to the left as far as you can without taking the right hip forward. So keep the right hip moving back. Hands move left. Really reach the right arm. And then hands over to the left side, really reach the right arm, keep the left hip moving back. And then to center. Find a big stretch for your leg. Bones of the spine pressing forward. Look forward. Beautiful. We're going to sit down and think about sitting from here. You might have to lift up and come down again, different approach. Or you might be able to squat down, keep your heels on the floor. Oh, and intentionally place your sit bones on the floor. Let's take a little blanket under the hip. So sitting comfortably. I've got cross legs because it's reasonably comfortable, but you might have your legs out semi-wide with your knees supported. If you have a knee injury, putting a little pillow under the knee can be nice, supported feeling until your knees recover. All right, we're going to reach the whole spine over to the right side. Reaching as far as you can now. So not so much of a banana shape, but really reaching the top of the head away from the left sit bone, and the left sit bone presses back down towards the floor. Keep lengthening. Good. You really feel the length in the left side of the body. Oh, and you can make it stronger by taking the left arm by the left ear, and we try to lift the front of the torso, the heart, so that the heart is shining upward. Good. Keeping that nice and long, relaxed. Nice work. And then coming up to center. Okay, now we're going to go to the same side again, but what we're going to do is both arms up by the ears. Good. Keep your left sitting bone particularly planted. Really gather your core energy. The feeling strong in the core of the body. And we're going to reach to the right side. Now you won't be able to go as far, but we're doing this without the hand on the floor. So it's the core of the body stabilizing now. Reach as far as you can. Try to shine the heart up towards the ceiling. Neck relax. Nice. And back to center. Beautiful. If your legs are crossed, change them. So other leg. We're going to take the whole spine and neck and torso and really reach out to the left side. So left hand on the floor to support. Really reaching. Shining the heart upward. Try to keep the right sit bone anchored and reach the top of the head from the right sit bone. Reach as far as your body can explore so that the right side of your body starts to stretch. Whoa. Good. If you want to add to this, take the right arm by the right ear. And add it again. Breathing deeply. Heart shining upward. Nice work. And then we're going to come up. Good. And take both arms up by the ears, drawing the shoulder blades down. Ooh, and now we're going to contain the core strength, really paying attention to that feeling. And lean the torso out to the left again, but we don't have the hands supporting us. So we're not going to go into that full strength. stretcher, but we're going to feel the strength, the stability of the core body. Beautiful. And coming back to center. Nice work. Both legs out, straight in front. We're going to swim the arms alternately to the opposite foot. So right hand reaching towards the left foot, left hand reaching towards the right foot. As part of the arm movement, take your arm all the way back. So make as big a circle as you can with your shoulder, your ribs. Good. So that lovely swimming movement. And we're exploring in that movement the forward bending at the hips. Good. So I think we started with the right arm, finish off with the left, and then do butterfly. So both arms together, but take your big circle. So take the arms all the way back and as far forward as your body will move. Good. Again, repeating. Noticing in the arm movement and the torso movement where the resistance to moving forward is. We try to keep the bones of the spine pressing forward so the bones feel supported, embedded, and maybe let the stretch be a little bit more in your leg. Good. The next time you reach forward, hold on to your leg or your feet. Lift the breastbone, embed the bones of the spine forward. Hashimotonasana. Taking some deep breaths here. Reaching the top of the head as far forward as you can. Pressing the back of the knees if that feels okay in your leg. Bones of the spine reaching forward. Ooh. Nice work. And then releasing. We're going to lay down for a baby bridge posture. Have your feet hip width and parallel, legs parallel, arms by the side of your torso, palms down. I'm going to lift the hips. Maybe it feels like the hips don't really lift that far. If you want to try for more, you can come back down and move your feet closer to your sit bones, even be on the balls of the feet to lift. But just take a movement that feels good. We're going to power that movement. So put your heels back down on the floor, really press down into your feet, lifting the thighs and lengthening them, containing the gluteus muscle towards center, lifting the hips high, lengthening the spine and breathing. Exploring where you can move here, where you can feel strong. Nice work. And then lowering down. Good. We're going to lift up a little bit higher. So move the heels in closer if there's still room. We're going to lift up again. And either you're going to interlock your fingers so your arms are straight along the floor underneath your hips, underneath your back. Or if you can lift up high enough, you can try and fit your hands in underneath your pelvis, either side. Try to have the elbows about shoulder width. Legs stay parallel. So if you've got your hands interlaced, pressing your knuckles towards your heels, getting the shoulder blades a little closer together. Good. And then we're all going to release and bring the spine back down to the floor. Release your arms. And we're going to do one more. So if your fingers were interlaced, when you interlace them this time, try the other way, other index finger on. Let's go again, lifting the hips. So interlaced fingers, stretching the arms out straight, knuckles towards the heels, or even wiggling yourself so you can put your hands underneath your hips. Legs parallel, press into the feet, containing the buttock muscles, lifting the thigh muscles, and breathing. Neck is long and relaxed. Good. And then releasing. Hug your knees into your chest, rocking a little bit from side to side. Lengthening your lower back. Happy baby pose. Arms on the inside of your knees and find your ankles or your feet with your hands. And we're going to try and aim the knees towards the floor, outside the shoulders or the chest, in that direction. And your upper body really relaxed here. The belly is broad and relaxed now. Spine relaxed. Good. Take the knees a little bit wider, the feet a little bit wider. Find your biggest stretch that you can for your hips. Try taking the left leg to straight or in that direction and feeling that big stretch. Good. And then bending the left leg and try taking the right leg to straight, feeling that. Neck. Good. And lastly, try both. Belly relax, face relax, throat. Good. And then releasing, hugging your knees in, rocking a little from side to side. Good. You're going to contain the muscular strength of the core and take your arms out from your shoulders, lift your hips and swing them left, and the knees are going to go right, but not quite touch down. If you need to touch down, of course you can, but see if you can hold with the core of your body, your legs just off the floor. Good, using that muscular strength. We're going to lift up, lift the hips, swing them right, and the knees are going to go left. And they're not quite going to touch down unless you need to. But we're really bringing that core awareness to support, stabilize. Good, back up to center. One more each side. Breathing. Feeling the stability, the strength of the core body. Back up to center, last side, knees to the left. Can look right. Back up to center. Hug your knees into your chest and rocking gently from side to side. Relaxing the core body now. Relaxing the spine. If you were able to lay your legs out for your own Shavasana now, that would be very nice. If, like me, you need to finish your practice, you can roll over to your right side and come up to seated position. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Finding your breath. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.